It's October 15th, and you were listening to the Take the Over podcast presented by Live Casino. Show than we normally do. We have, obviously, we're not in the studio. We're going to keep it brief on a Saturday for you guys. We had some COVID issues. So we are doing our part to be safe here and kind of keep everybody under control. But we wanted to record today because we had a week last week. I think I finished 9-2, and Drew finished 5-5. So Drew, how are we doing?
A collective 14-7. I think that's going to be good for most cases, right? So I'm doing pretty okay. Hope everything's okay over there, and thanks for setting everything up and on the electronic version of our podcast. And like you said, we're going to try and keep it brief today and recap a little bit of last week and then get into some picks for tomorrow, for Sunday. So probably a lot of people will be watching this historically, I'm guessing, since it's coming out on Saturday. So probably watching the week after. So hopefully the picks were good and we had another good week.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Yeah, last week, like I said, it seems like we couldn't miss for a little bit there, but this week we're trying to run it back. Some of our hits last week: New York Giants, the Eagles, Seattle, the Patriots, Cleveland, Titans. Like we just couldn't miss, which is which is a good problem to have. And I'll tell you what, the other one that really sucked was the Bills -6.5 over 41.5. Turns out I don't like taking double-digit lines in the NFL. We were more than okay to take a double-digit line against the Steelers and the Bills last week. Oh my God, are the Steelers dead?
It's not ideal. Steelers are getting a little more respect this week. It's a single-digit line, barely. It's 9.5, but they're getting a little more respect for Kenny. I think people were impressed with Kenny, so I don't think they're dead yet. I think after this week, I mean, I don't know. The one quote that I saw from this past week was Ryan Clark saying that the only person he'd be willing to go down an alley with on that Pittsburgh Steelers roster is the quarterback. The young kid at quarterback, I think is what he said. I don't think he said Kenny Pickett. I don't think he said number 8. But Ryan Clark said the only current Steeler, which, I mean, you have Cam Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick. But anyways, it's a quote. It's a quote to generate the, well, yeah, he's not playing right now either, but it's a quote to generate the clicks and whatever. But it says a lot about the thoughts of this Pittsburgh Steelers team, which is that they have a bright spot at quarterback, which is a good spot to have a bright spot. But how long is that going to last? And I'll apologize quickly too. It's windy here. You'll probably hear that once or twice. I'm just hopefully not going to blow away.
Yeah, I will tell you it is interesting to see the Steelers where they are right now, because we've not seen the Steelers in this way since like 2005, 4. So we'll definitely talk about the game today for the Steelers. But there's some really good lines this week, and we'll try to run this back here. First one that stuck out to me. So, and again, if you're looking for a place to watch any of the games this weekend or any weekend, go ahead and head down to the Live Casino right there in Greensburg. You won't regret that. You can take some of these picks down there and cash them in, because life is going to be good for you if you do that.
Agreed. Yeah, head on down to the 15601 over there in Greensburg, PA, and the 2-story media wall is just as impressive as it was the day it was put in. So that's a great place to watch games and place your wagers. That we're giving you these picks. So if you're tuning in quickly, congratulations, you got some free money. If you're tuning in after the fact, boy, I hope I'm really not putting my socks in my mouth on that statement.
And we were 14 for 21 last week, so it's hitting at 67%. Let's try to keep that mojo going. And I'm going to start us off here. A line that just didn't make sense to me, it really just stuck out, was Vikings -3 against Miami. Now, I know the Vikings are at Miami, so you get a little home field advantage there. The Vikings are healthy, though. And they're going into this game with the better offense, because Skylar Thompson's the quarterback against the Dolphins. As far as I know, I believe he's taking all the first-team reps. Pretty even matchup as far as the lines go. You have the Vikings are 11th in total offense. The Dolphins are 17th. Vikings are 8th in pass yards. Dolphins are 5th, but without Tua. So I think they're probably more like 15th or 16th without Tua. They are tied, scoring the same amount of points per game, and both teams struggle to run the ball. Here's the biggest difference that I see. I think that when you have a 7th-round rookie, you have to lean on the run. So if you're struggling to run the ball, obviously that gives the edge to the Vikings in this situation. So I'm going to go with the best wide receiver duo in the NFL right now. And I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and take the Vikings -3.
Yeah, I have 5 total picks for us this week, including the bet the house pick. So I've got 2 spreads and then 2 overs. And then one of the ones I did send you beforehand is that Minnesota -3. I think that's a nice line, and I had the same thought that, you know what, I don't know what I'm missing here, but it seems like that should have been at least a touchdown
At least.
margin. But at the same time, if you have a quarterback that maybe can't throw it down the field, I mean, Miami has some of the most lethal short screen pass wide receivers in the NFL,
Yeah.
so maybe he doesn't have to throw it very far and let them do the work. But at the same time, I think if we're thinking that, then NFL teams have to be thinking that as well, right? So you can create a game plan around that. The one thing I did see about Miami this week, the piece of news that I saw, was that Coach McDaniel said that he was proud of the Miami Dolphins for getting rid of the ping pong table in the locker room and focusing more on the opponents.
Yeah.
And then did you see that at all? Did you see
Yeah.
that? And then Tyreek Hill came out. I think yesterday Tyreek Hill came out and said, "Well, that table was bent, and we're actually custom ordering a brand new one." So it's like, okay, so now there's a pretty big disconnect, it seems like, between what everything's going on. So that coupled with a situation, just distraction in general, I think. I mean, I have to think that the way that that's been scrutinized by everybody, that's got to have some effect on that locker room, I would imagine. So, and I think today Tua's slated to come back week 7.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really comment on that piece, but, maybe taking a breather. You had concussions say that he should quit for life or retire. So there's 2 opposite ends of the spectrum there. But anyway, I think with all that, and also with as talented as Minnesota is on offense, I think that that -3 should cover pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. I think we're both in the same boat. Definitely believe that that the Vikings cover that. Going away pretty easily, I think. It's not our bet the house pick, but it very easily could be. And the only reason it's not is because Kirk Cousins, the Dolphins still have a good defense, and they're pretty healthy on defense. So we'll just keep it at Vikings -3, official pick, not our bet the house pick. And then I like a game here. The Baltimore Ravens at the New York Giants. Giants are getting 6 points. The Giants are probably the most surprising 4-1 team in recent NFL memory. The difference is the Ravens are only allowing 108 rush yards per game, and the Giants have the number 2 rushing attack in the NFL. I think they play this one very aggressively and make Daniel Jones beat them through the air and not Saquon Barkley on the ground. I love the way Saquon's playing. He's playing better than his best season by a mile. He's doubling his yards per game over last year. But I'm going to ride with the better team here at the end of the day. So I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens money line, an over 45.5. Baltimore's defense is giving up a ton of points. The New York Giants, their defense has always struggled, so I think this could get over pretty easily. So that's the actual total over. So Baltimore money line over 45.5 is plus 156, and I will be kicking myself in the ass on Sunday when it's 7-3 at halftime. But for now, I'm gonna ride with the Baltimore money line.
Love that. That's the only other. I looked at that game and I thought it was kind of a trap game, so I decided to not pull the trigger on anything because anything can happen. You can get any Lamar shows up, you can get any Danny Dimes that shows up. So I'll be cheering for you for that bet. I decided to take a step back from that.
All right.
The other spread that I did like though is that we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. So you've got 2-3 teams in the NFC West. That's not a do or die game in week 6, but it's something that this could really give you a leg up over your competition, especially in the divisional race. So I think this is one that Arizona's -2.5, and I know they're missing some weapons, but I think Kyler Murray is going to be able to produce in a hostile environment in Seattle. I don't think Geno Smith is as good as Geno Smith has been. 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions this year, and I think we're going to see maybe. I think the only way he can go is regress, which is unfortunate for him. But I think that that we might see that with a pretty stout Arizona Cardinals defense. Arizona Cardinals -2.5 on the road in Seattle. I think it's going to continue to be a rough road for Seattle, and Arizona's at 2-3 is a little bit of a surprise for most people. I think that
Yeah.
they kind of a lot of folks expected that Arizona to be 4-1, and maybe the Giants to be 2-3. So a little bit of switching roles there. I think the Cardinals are going to pick it up, get back to 500 on the season. Arizona Cardinals -2.5 on Sunday.
And I love that, actually. I don't have it as an official pick. However, just looking at some stats here because, we're talking about it right now. But the Seattle Seahawks beat. Here's who they beat. They beat the Broncos, who have turned into a dumpster fire this year. They're not good, and they've also beaten the Lions. So they haven't been exactly beating the best teams. Wait, did they beat? Yeah, they beat the Lions. Yeah, so they beat the Broncos and the Lions. So they haven't been exactly beating the best teams. Also, their defense is pretty terrible. They are 32nd in the league at total yards per game. They're 32nd in the league at allowing rush yards per game. They're 31st in the league at allowing points, and they haven't faced Kyler Murray yet. So give me, I'm not going to pick this one. You know what? I am going to pick this one. I didn't want to, but I think we both just talked myself into it. Arizona Cardinals -2.5. I think, there's no reason not to take that.
And you added to my confidence, so I appreciate that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a great pick. So we're gonna do Arizona -2.5.
But that's all that I have for spreads. I've got a couple of overs, and then my bet at the house. I didn't do a parlay. I didn't do a hot take this week. Took it easy with the COVID protocols in place for the Take the Over podcast. But that was all I had for spreads. Any other spreads that you like?
Yeah, well, I think we'd have to kind of talk about the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, only because it could be the game of the year. This is up to this point. Mahomes is an underdog at home. He's also 7-0-1 as an underdog. The Buffalo Bills have just manhandled teams this year. They've beaten everybody except for the Miami Dolphins, which was kind of a surprise that they didn't beat them. Josh Allen is cooking. Gabe Davis is absolutely losing his mind. He's cooking so hard. Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary's due for a breakout game. This is I don't love giving points in Arrowhead Stadium, but I also have to go with the best team on paper. I'm going to take the Bills -2.5.
I like that. I saw that game as well, and I really wanted to take something on that game. And I may end up taking the over just to cheer for the track meet that we might witness. But at the same time, I was like, whenever I started trying to look at some of the numbers there and think about the possibilities, my brain was in a pretzel. So I decided to take a step back, and I'm glad you at least brought it up because I think it will be a very good game. I think Jackson Mahomes will be on the sidelines, which will be great, and Patrick Mahomes' wife on the sidelines as well. So, who does that favor? I don't know, but I think that it's going to be a fun game to watch.
All right, so you're not taking anything; you're just going to watch. So we can move into some overs here that we have. Why don't you start us off? Just throw an over at us here.
All right, so the over that I don't want to say I like it the most, but the over I like the most, which may surprise some folks. It's an AFC matchup, Jacksonville and Indiana. Indianapolis, actually, if you're paying attention at home. Jacksonville, I think, is a lot better team than they've been given credit for, especially coming off of the tumultuous season last year with Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence just getting his feet wet. It's not a great year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence is turning a corner, and he's producing a lot more than people recognize. Downside, or maybe a positive side for him, is that he plays in Jacksonville, so he doesn't get a lot of attention. Let's say if he played for New England or another high-profile team. So he's kind of flown under the radar a little bit this year, but I think the Jaguars are capable of scoring. He went down 41.5 for the 1 o'clock game tomorrow. But it's a rematch of the game from earlier this season. I think that what we're going to see is a lot of points coming from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though the Colts are favored, I think the Jaguars could potentially even win this game. But 41.5, 42, whatever you can find it at, I would take the over on that.
Yep. No, I don't mind that. The only thing that scares me is they weren't able to score last week on Houston at all. So that kind of concerns me a little bit. I just have two here, and they're just team overs. I like the Bengals over 22.5. I think anytime you have that much talent on the offensive side of the ball, they're playing New Orleans. Andy Dalton starting for New Orleans, so I think the Bengals offense is going to be on the field quite a bit tomorrow with some 3-and-outs and things like that. And you also have to remember that Joe Burrow missed the entire training camp and preseason with appendix surgery, so he's just now getting back into like where he should be week 1, week 2, kind of getting that timing down with the receivers. They just have too much talent. Over 22.5. New Orleans has given up some points this year, so I'll take the Bengals over 22.5. And then the other one, which is just such a slap in the face, the Jets over 17.5. Yes, they're playing Green Bay. Yes, Green Bay has a good defense. However, the Jets are averaging 23 points this year per game. It's inflated because they just put up 40 last week. I understand that. But they're not playing bad football. For the first time in my life, where it's October and we're not talking about the New York Jets draft pick for next year. So let's just go ahead. I think Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a ton of weapons this year. I think they can put some pressure on him, keep the offense on the field. Breece Hall is a monster. Jets get over 17.5. That is my pick for that one. Did you have any other overs, or did you want to hop into the potential parlay and our bet the house?
The only other over that I had, which I think is going to be a little interesting as well, is an NFC matchup between the 49ers and the Falcons. That over is at 45 even right now. The 49ers in 3 of their last 4 games have scored 24 or more points, so they are on a streak of scoring points. And I think I have all the faith in the world in former Oregon Duck Marcus Mariota that he is going to score some points as well. I think that that's a hot or cold. That's the dictionary definition of hot or cold at Marcus Mariota. So I think he's going to have a hot week. I think the 49ers are going to get them at least halfway there, if not more. And then Marcus has to clean it up a little bit, maybe a little backdoor cover at the end of the game. But 45 between the Falcons and the Niners. Book that for an over this weekend.
I like that because, the Saints had a good defense going into week 1. They put up 26 points. The Rams have the highest paid defense in the NFL and notoriously one of the best defenses in the NFL. They put up 27 points against them, 23 against the Seahawks. And then the Browns, who also have a good defense, they put up 23 against them. And then last week they played the Bucs, who have like an amazing defense. They still put up 15 points. So as long as they can get it to, I think, 17 or 20 points, I think it's probably a 30 to 20 game, or a 27 to 20 game. Either way, both of those get you over. But I think in order for that to happen, you have to have Atlanta get to 20 points in order for that to hit. But I'll cheer for that for sure. I'll cheer for that. So then, do you have a parlay?
I did not. Nope, I didn't do a parlay. I didn't do a. Go do yours. I'll pull it together here really quickly.
Right.
I'll do a quick 3-teamer for us.
All right, cool. So I just got a pretty easy 3-team parlay here, and here it is. Tampa Bay money line against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think even if Kenny shows promise, Tom Brady is 9-3 against the Steelers, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he's only lost to 1 rookie quarterback in his entire career. Tampa Bay money line. 49ers money line, I still think Atlanta's rebuilding. I think that the 49ers defense is too good. They're going to win that game. And then the Chargers on Monday Night Football. Last week we hit a parlay on Monday Night Football. It ended on Monday Night Football. This one, Denver Broncos, they're a mess. This is all money line. Tampa Bay, 49ers, Chargers, not big odds, but plus 155. We'll take those odds as if we're getting a sure thing.
As just a player prop, I appreciate those money lines, by the way, D-Nop. Those are some of my favorites to bet because they're pretty easy, right? It's easy to remember whenever you're betting it because you just need these teams to win. You don't have to think, I need this team by 2.5, this team by what, this team by what. So I appreciate the money line bets. If I'm going to place a player prop parlay, I wasn't able to get on FanDuel right now to see what these actual odds are. But I'll just share it with you just so you can share with the folks as well. We're going to do 3 players, and I'm going to do 1 Josh Allen over rushing. I'm going back to the well. Josh Allen over rushing yards against the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to guess that's somewhere around, it could be in the 19.5 variety, maybe a little bit higher, but I'm still taking the over on that. because that's going to be an electric game. He's going to make third down plays, maybe run like we talked about. It could be in one play that he gets that taken care of. Another person that I would like to call to the stand is the ever lovable Christian McCaffrey. So that's something we're going to get him out there. The over on rushing and receiving yards usually is around 137, 138. So as we know, Carolina Panthers, I said a couple weeks ago, they're not as bad as we think they are. I'd like to take that back if I could. I think they're pretty darn horrible. But at the same time, they have a superstar McCaffrey that they're going to use him like he's a rented product, and he's a rental car, right, with the insurance. So I think they're going to take him off some jumps, and he's going to have a lot of yards rushing and receiving. And then finally, I'm going to take the over for Aaron Rodgers passing touchdowns as well. So I think it should be around 1.5, usually about what it is. But Aaron Rodgers, if he's going to pass for 2 touchdowns, put all 3 of those in the parlay together. I think you're going to have a nice Sunday as well.
All right. I'm going to just look here, see what Aaron Rodgers passing touchdowns. I'm
going to guess over 1.5 is like minus 167.
Yeah, they actually don't have it up yet, which is weird. They have the alternate pass yards, but they don't have they don't have that one up yet. So we can get that tomorrow. But Aaron Rodgers over 1.5. Let's just say passing TDs. Okay, I don't mind it. I mean, if that's going to hit the over, and the Jets are going to still win that game, so we're still all right. We're still all right. And then for my bet the house pick, not 100% sure how you're feeling right now after bet the house, but I am 3-1 this year, which is that never happens. So hopefully we don't have the same bet the house, because I don't want to put bad mojo on you, and I don't want your bad mojo on me. Here's my bet the house pick. I'm just looking to see. Yeah, okay, perfect. Here's my bet the house pick. My bet the house pick, pretty simple here. We're gonna go San Francisco minus 4.5. Again, they're a really good defense. Jimmy Garoppolo just wins games. So offensively, these teams are very close. But the difference comes in at defense, and Atlanta's defense is not nearly as good as San Francisco's. So give me San Francisco minus 4.5 on the road this week. Bet the house. Jimmy G gets us another house.
I like that a lot, Derrick. I was going to mention something about the Falcons whenever I was talking about the over, but because it's Marcus Mariota and the Ducks. I got to have soft spot in my heart at least. That I think they can pull it off, but Jimmy G has proven that he's got the sauce, so he can take care of Atlanta, I think, pretty easily this weekend. One thing I did want to bring up, I was just on FanDuel on my phone. Actually, it's very, very user friendly on the phone. I usually more often on my iPad, which is what we're streaming from right now, so I didn't want to mess anything up potentially. Josh Allen's over for rushing yards is 48.5.
Yeah.
And you know what? I said 19.5. That would have been great, and that's why I don't make the lines, I suppose. 48.5 is a lot. 50 rushing yards is quite a few. But I said what I said. And I think that's going to come in very, very easily. So
going down with the ship.
On the plus side, I did find Aaron Rodgers over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and that was minus 162. So that one I was very much more into.
Yeah, you were.
So I'm much more confident in that one. And then Josh Allen for the rushing yards, 48.5 is quite a few, but I think we're gonna cheer him on, and he's gonna get, like we talked about, that could be one rush for Josh Allen. You never know.
That's really it. I mean, last week against the Steelers, he didn't have to run a lot, but he still ran for 42 yards in a blowout. So I think this game's a lot closer. I think he's trying to make plays. I think 48.5 is a safe bet.
And for my bet the house, it's a game that you alluded to a little bit earlier. The Cincinnati Bengals are minus 2.5 on FanDuel right now. Cincinnati Bengals at the New Orleans Saints. Andy Dalton playing his former team. I think he's got demons to begin with. I think that's I equate the Mitch Trubisky situation to the Andy Dalton situation, where Mitch Trubisky changes scenery a couple times. Is that going to help him out? Yeah, is he going to do this? At the end of the day, Mitch Trubisky is Mitch Trubisky. Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. And that is going to result in a couple of turnovers for the Saints that are going to lead to points for the Cincinnati Bengals. and I don't think the Saints are going to be able to recover from those
Yep.
errors. So I'm taking the Bengals -2.5 as my bet the house pick, which I think are 2-3 or 1-4 this year. I'm below 500. I know for sure. I don't know what the exact record is, but it doesn't matter. The beard is on the line. It doesn't matter because I'm going to win out from here.
That's all that
So I'm just going to
matters.
take all those wins, and it's going to be the record's going to be fine. The beard's fine. Everything's going to be fine.
And another thing to give you a little bit more confidence in your bet the house pick. They're playing in New Orleans. Joe Burrow homecoming, Jamar Chase homecoming. There's going to be so many LSU jerseys in the stands tomorrow. It's going to feel like a home game for the Cincinnati Bengals. And they just opened up their indoor practice facility this week. There's no chance. There's no chance. That's a safe. That's two houses given to you from us. You are welcome. And I know
Go Tigers.
Drew said he didn't have a hot take. I'm just going to throw it out there. It's really simple. All it is an exact score. This is exactly what the score is going to be tomorrow for the Bills and Chiefs. It's going to be 27 Bills, 20 Chiefs. That's plus 9,000. So go ahead and lock that in right now. So you don't even need to work for your hot take. It's plus 9,000. It's one game,
Wow.
27-20. I've already put money on it because I'm sick. That's
That would be awesome.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So let's cheer for that. Plus 9,000.
I'm cheering 27. That's what I'm probably cheering the most now because that would be awesome to have that happen and have you get that. But I wouldn't be surprised because you're just that good. So
Yeah.
27-20 is a good pick. I got bet the house with the Bengals. I think that was it for me, buddy. 5-5 last week. So not a losing week, but also not a winning week. So I'm going to look to turn that around this week.
14-7 as a show. That's what's important. We're a team.
That's why we do it. That's why we do it.
We're a team. Doesn't matter who wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. We are a team. What was the record? So that's the show, guys. Again, it was a short show today, but we were just we were dealing with a whole bunch of stuff here. So we'll be back next week, barring more negative COVID tests. And until then, good luck. Bet some overs. Let's go Penn State. They're up right now. And let's win some cash. Let's win some cash this week.
Keep the Rays in Tampa.
There you go.
Thanks for listening to Take the Over Sports Show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.